had completely away. I had an uncle, talking about old songs, and I had an uncle called Stanley Damerel. It wasn't his real name, his real name was Jack Stevens. I don't know why he changed it to Stanley Damerel. But he wrote some songs which I think you probably remember. Lady of Spain, he wrote the words for that. Let's All Sing Like the Birdies Sing. And then he sang one called, wrote one called I've Never Wronged an Onion, So Why Should It Make Me Cry? And that was the end of his career. But he always admired thank you, very kind to old people. Anyway, but he always admired the American songs, and here's one. Maybe I should go back to the ukulele and sing that one. Yes, because it's better on the ukulele. But he always admired the American songs, and here's one from 1926. And you know, they talk about protest songs being, or social commentary songs being new from the 60s, but they were writing social comment songs even back in those days in the 20s. So here is this song my uncle really loved and would have liked to have written. Masculine women and feminine men, which is the rooster, which is the hen? It's hard to tell them apart today, that way. Trousers and panties, baggy and wide, nobody knows what's walking inside. Those masculine women and men, this is genuine for the 20s. Boys were boys and girls were girls when I was a tot. Now you don't know who is who or even what's what. Sister Susie's learning to shave. Brother just loves his permanent wave. Those masculine women and feminine men. Once you used to kiss your little girlfriend in the hall. Now you'll find that you are kissing her brother Paul. Hey, they masculine women, feminine men. Which is the rooster, which is the hen? Those masculine women and feminine men. Ra-da-da-da. I suppose we can get away, because that was a genuine historic song of its time. And here's another one, but this is going to be upside jumping to and fro. Right? Oh, I told you about George Formby and about my uncle writing some of his songs. But I love the way you sing, so before I sing this song, let's do one that he was very famous for. And I'll sing you the verse, and when the chorus comes, I know you'll know it. It was written by Noel Gay, who wrote The Lambeth Walk. But no, I'm not a crook, and if you think that's what I look, I'll tell you why I'm here and what my motives are. I'm leaning on the lamppost at the corner of the street, and safe to say some little lady comes by. Oh me, oh mine, I hope that little lady comes by. I don't know if she gets away, she doesn't always get away, but anyhow I know that she'll try. Beautiful! Oh me, oh mine, I hope that little lady comes by. But I'm rewind, there's no other girl that I wait for, but this girl I'd wait any day for. I don't have to ask what she's late for. She wouldn't leave me, but she's not a girl like that. Ooh, she's absolutely wonderful and marvelous and beautiful, and anyone can understand why. I'm leaning on the lamppost at the corner of the street, in case a certain little lady comes by. Well done. Well, here's another one of his, then I want to do a slower song because I want to be reflective. But here's one. Oh, my point is, I was get back to my point. My point is that the British songwriters, my uncle told me this, found it very hard to write American ragtime songs and jazz. And so they resorted to comedy songs and exotic songs. And I remember my uncle Stanley Damerel saying to me, he said, all the trouble with these American songs is they're all just the lugubrious lamentations of the disappointed lover. And they are really, they're all, these love songs down on the couch and everything, and I can't get started with you, and sailors and so forth. So the British songwriters like to write outdoor songs like, I'm happy when I'm hiking, I've got on my back, remember that? Do you remember it? I'm happy when I'm hiking, off the beaten track, out in the open, country. Turn and down with the real good friend to the journey's end. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles a day. That's 1933. Now think what was going on in Germany at that time. They were seeing awful sort of sticking up their hands like that and doing these awful marches. And we were doing I'm Happy When I'm Hiking, which is a much better idea. So anyway, so George Formby was keeping us all merry and bright. You know, by the way, he was very big in Russia. It's absolutely true. One of his films got stranded in Moscow in World War II, and they showed it. It's called Let George Do It, all the way through the war. And he so raised the morale of the Russians that they gave him the Order of Lenin. Absolutely true. So he was a huge star in Moscow as well. But here's one of the songs that he sang, which my uncle helped write, and it's all about the West End of London. Sounds Eastern. Up the West End, that's the best end, where the nightclubs thrive. Down into a dive you go. There's a jazz queen, she's a has-been, Lord knows where. Every night at 8, she's there. She dances underneath a magic spell. She's full of charm and beer and stout as well. She's 66 but looks 16. Her friends don't know her now, her face is clean. Fan like Fanny, the frowsy nightclub queen. See her waltz around the floor, then waltz right into the pub next door. Fan like Fanny, the frowsy nightclub queen. She looks swell in the line, a queen all the time. You get your money's worth. By day you'll say it's the second time on earth. When she's dressed, she's like Mae West. She wears 2 saucepan lids upon her chest. Fan like Fanny, the frowsy nightclub queen. Every dawn at the break of day, they call for the empties and they can't away. Fan like Fanny, the frowsy nightclub queen. Fan like Fanny, the frowsy nightclub queen. I know, because you know all these old songs, I know you're very fond, as I am, of that marvellous team of Bud Flanagan and Chesney Allen. Remember that? Yeah. And Chesney actually spent his last years in a hotel in Midhurst, which is not far from here. And I had the honour of going up to see him there. Bud was dead, and we stood in the bar, and he put his arm around me, and we sang Underneath the Arches. Remember that? And then the follow-up, they're building flats where the arches used to be. And then they had a third one called Parking Camels, where the taxis used to be. But that's not what we're going to do tonight. And this is one that I really like of theirs. And it's just a nice, sweet song. It was written by the guy who wrote We'll Meet Again. Home is where your heart is, no matter where your heart may be. If the one you love is there, it's a place beyond compare. Like the answer to a prayer, it's heavenly. You'll find that home is where your dreams are, and every shared and cared for memory. So the truth right from the start is, home is where your heart is, no matter where your heart may be. Now here's one you know. Underneath the arches, we dream our dreams away. Everybody, you know that one. Underneath the arches, on cobblestones we lay. Every night you'll find us, that's it, tired and warm. Happy when the daylight comes creeping, heralding the dawn. Sleeping when it's raining, and sleeping when it's fine. You'll hear those trains rattling by and by. Pavement is the pillow, no matter where we lay. Underneath the arches, we dream our dreams. away. Well sung. Well, those were beautiful songs, and there were all kinds of wonderful comedy songs, even in the 50s when I was, actually I was going in the 40s, in the 50s we still had those songs, and then we